All right, let's talk about two letters you see all the time, L and G. But what if I told you those two letters represent one of the absolute biggest, most diverse companies on the entire planet? A company so huge, its real story is, well, it's almost hard to wrap your head around.
I mean, really, take a second and look at it. When you see this logo, the one with the little wink, what's the very first thing that comes to mind?
I'm gonna bet it's something like this, right? You're thinking of a great TV, maybe a slick refrigerator, or that washing machine you've had for years. And look, you're not wrong, but that's barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, that's not even close to the whole picture. The LG that you and I think we know, that's really just the tip of this massive corporate iceberg. To really get it, we've got to zoom way out. And it all starts with this word right here, chaebol. This is the key to everything. See, in South Korea, after the Korean War, the government basically handpicked certain family-run companies and gave them a ton of support. Special loans, tax breaks, you name it, to rebuild the country's economy. And these companies just exploded into these multi-industry giants. And LG isn't some outlier here. We're talking about the same league as other massive South Korean names you definitely know, like Samsung and Hyundai. These are global titans, and LG is right there with them, one of the original, most powerful chaebols. And just to give you a sense of how important they are, get this. A handful of these companies make up about half the entire value of South Korea's stock market. Think about that. If a company like LG were to have a bad year, it wouldn't just be a problem for them. It could actually shake the entire national economy and send ripples all over the world. So, the big question is, how on earth did they get so big? Well, the origin story is probably not at all what you're thinking. Let's actually unpack where those two letters, L and G, even came from. So if you look at this timeline, you'll see it wasn't always one company. It was two totally separate brands. You had Lucky, which, believe it or not, started out making cosmetics. And then you had Gold Star, which was all about electronics, fans, radios, that kind of thing. It wasn't until 1995 that they took the L from Lucky and the G from Gold Star, slammed them together, and created the LG we know today. Yep, LG stands for Lucky Gold Star. Let's just follow that Lucky side for a second, because it's wild. It all started in 1947 with a face cream. That was a hit, so they got into plastics, making stuff like combs. And that expertise in chemicals just kept growing and growing until it turned into LG Chem, which is now the biggest chemical company in all of South Korea. I mean, what a journey from face cream to an industrial powerhouse. Okay, and this is where the story gets even crazier. Because a huge, huge part of LG's business today isn't about selling you an LG-branded product. It's about being the invisible, absolutely essential part inside the brands you already love. So, take batteries. The demand for LG's lithium-ion batteries, especially for electric cars, got so big, so fast, that they had to spin it off into its very own company, which is now called LG Energy Solution. And who's buying these batteries? Oh, just most of the biggest car companies in the world. GM, Ford, even Tesla. And it's not just cars. Their batteries are probably in your laptop, your power tools, your e-bike. The key thing here is you are very likely using LG technology every single day, and you don't even know it. And it is the exact same story when it comes to screens. LG has been a leader in display tech for decades, from the old LCDs all the way to the amazing OLEDs they're known for now. Their screens are everywhere, in TVs, computer monitors, the dashboard in your car. But here's the real kicker. They even make some of the beautiful, high-tech OLED screens for Apple's iPhones. That's right, the screen on the phone in your hand right now might have been made by LG. And hey, speaking of phones, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Now, they did stop making phones back in 2021, but for a really long time, they were one of the top 3 players in the world, and they were incredibly innovative. I bet a lot of you remember this phone, the LG Chocolate. Man, it was so slick, so cool, and it was a smash hit. They sold over 20 million of them. LG was famous for these really bold, kind of weird designs. But here is a little piece of tech history that might just blow your mind. LG actually released a full touchscreen phone, the LG Prada, months before Steve Jobs ever walked on stage and announced the very first iPhone. They were a true pioneer. So we've talked chemicals, batteries, displays, even phones. But the LG empire is even bigger than all of that, especially if you look inside its home country of South Korea. I mean, just look at this.
LG runs LGU Plus, the country's second biggest cell phone provider. They own a professional baseball team, the LG Twins, and a professional basketball team. They've got a giant IT consulting company. Seriously, if you live in South Korea, it's pretty much impossible to go a day without using an LG service. And that really is the heart of the whole story. LG is this industrial giant whose true power is mostly invisible to us. It's hiding in plain sight, tucked away as a critical part inside some other company's product, or running a service you'd never connect back to the company that made your TV. So that kind of leaves you with one last thought, right? We started out thinking of LG as just an appliance brand, but we've uncovered this massive, sprawling, hidden empire. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a company this big can be so misunderstood, how many other invisible giants are out there, shaping our world in ways we don't even see?